to the audience. And at the end of the speaking, we're going to have about half an hour of Q&A. So the idea is that if you have any questions, you can just put it in the chat function on the Zoom, and we'll collect all of those questions, and then at the end of the event, we'll start to ask those questions to the professionals that are in the house. So, yeah, that's pretty much what we have lined up today, and I just want you to just sit back and relax. Just a little bit about myself. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I'm going to find a spot here and there where I'm going to share my background in terms of my profession as an IT consultant and a facilitator as well. I'm a trainer as well. My first degree is in human resources. I have a background in human resources and public health as a second degree, and I currently work in IT, information technology, as a business analyst, and as a software. I implement software as well, and I've been doing this for many years now, about 15 years. I got into it just from working in an organization that had a lot of problems, and usually what you find in IT is the reason for projects is because there are problems in there. So it's been an exciting ride all the way because I've been able to leverage my experience from the HR background to implementing HR systems. So I've evolved from there to training, facilitating, and I'm also involved in other types of businesses as well, which, as we get along from time, we'll get to know more, and I get to use that opportunity to share my experience. So that being said, I'm going to pass it over to the Reverend Chooks. He's going to do the opening prayer, and he's also going to share the mission and the vision of the church and the education committee, because there's so much that we have to offer. There's a lot of skills in Godways International Ministry. There's so many professionals in this church, and what we look to do is to share our knowledge and experience and elevate members of the church, and also use that as an opportunity to bring people to our church to see all the benefits and all the things that exist in our ministry. And it's so exciting. It's so unique. And of course, our Reverend is also a professional. He's a lawyer. You're going to have an opportunity to hear him speak about his profession as well. So there's so much to talk about here. So, but, I'll hand it over to the Reverend, who's going to pray for us first. Then he's going to get into the mission of the church. Reverend, please go ahead, sir.
Praise God.
Hallelujah.
I noticed that too many people are wearing suits, so I have to go and get my jacket.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I can look as professional as every other person. Right, okay, let's say a prayer. In Jesus' name. Father, Lord, we gather in your name this hour, and because you've blessed us so much with a lot of capabilities, we come to share this information with one another because it is to your pleasure that we are well equipped in everything we do. It is to your pleasure that we succeed. Your word says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, not lack of faith, not even wisdom, but they lack knowledge. Therefore, Lord, we bring you into this session of knowledge impacting, that everything we do or share shall be for someone who will benefit from it, or indeed share it with someone else who will benefit from it. The mission, O Lord, is that your name be glorified, because in the success and victory of your people, your goodness more and more reveals. Therefore, Lord, we say, take charge of all we do, and may we do it according to your plan and purpose. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Right. I noticed that I have to do the next thing, which is to okay. So if you are with me, some of us are from the Old Testament, so the technology is not always our friend. When I heard I'm going to share my screen, I almost had heart attack, but it's okay. I'm going to try it, and hopefully it works. Okay, is it shared now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
We can see your
Oh,
screen,
good.
sir.
So I made it.
Yes, sir.
Thank God I don't need to ask for help.
Okay.
So, okay. The Godways International Ministry, you see, God's Way, the only way. It's a mission that evolved out of the calling of God upon my life. As already been said, I am a lawyer by profession, first qualified as a lawyer in the UK, and then qualified as a lawyer first qualified in Nigeria and then in the UK. And in the UK, I achieved 3 judicial precedents. One of my cases overruled up to 16th century decisions of the United Kingdom. By all standards, I should say I am well-established lawyer, and God said, no, I want you somewhere else. And then it was a challenge, no doubt, having settled into my profession and enjoying it as it were. And indeed, making money there too. So I know this must be important to some people who are very business-minded, the money part. But then, it's always going to be an issue to leave money and go and do something else. But as time went by, I came to realization that I may not be able to run away from this call, and I asked God to give me a vision of what He wants me to do. Over the years, I waited until the time came, and then I started Godways International Ministry, a name of ministry God gave me to register and start. Because I have limited time, I will not go into greater details, but to say that the Godways International Ministry is not just an ordinary church as we know it. We have administration plans, and we have campuses. We have online ministry for global network twice a week. We have campus located in UK, Canada, and Nigeria. We also have group of people in US, but the campus is not set up yet. And we have committees in campuses. Education committee is one of them. Now producing this initiative, we have different committees that are really working hard and producing results. We have the evangelism committee, we have the mission and outreach, we have the prayer team, and if I haven't mentioned any committee, just know it's because of time. At least you give me that. So we have global online Thursdays and on Sundays. Usually we use Zoom for that. We are strong on trying to touch lives, and part of this initiative today is really to give information that will benefit you from those who have done it and those who have the practical knowledge, such things that you may not really learn from going to school or reading books. We have the widow and widowers support initiative. Last year in December, we supported 10 widows in Nigeria through this initiative. And we have Lawyers for Justice, which is like a team of lawyers volunteering to provide free legal service or free legal advice or free legal information to people who may have one issue or the other. Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it. I stopped at the UK because This one is still new. I just qualified and got called to buy in Canada not too long ago as well. So I can actually say I'm a qualified lawyer in 3 continents, so that those knowledge I use to assist people now that I am more involved in ministry. And I quite cherish this part of education project because it's in line with the mission of Godways International Ministry. So we have 2 arms of what we do. We have the ministry, which is what I've described. We have online, we have campuses, but strong in our midst is mission. And mission I describe as every movement that we set out to touch life and improve on people's life. And indeed to bring them to Christ and the knowledge of the love of God in their life. So we have the Ambassador in the Park, which is an initiative we hope to do in summer when we go to party in the park. And the whole idea is to share the experiences of people in their journey with God and life generally, for others to hear and learn from it. Gang of God is really an initiative that we intend to draw those who are derailing from their destiny back to God, especially those who have issues with the system, maybe criminal offenses or prison. We recognize that some people, even after they've served their term, they're still marginalized in the society and they cannot fit in. They paid the price for what they've done, but they are left to do it again because the society doesn't seem to have articulated proper ways to assimilate them back into the society. This project is aimed at people like that who thought life is no more meaningful. We want to, instead of joining the gang that do bad things, we want to bring them into the gang of God that do good things. The Hallelujah Festival is supposed to deal with Christian community coming together. It's part of Christian ecumenism, bringing different denominations together to celebrate God. We're expecting this will be in an open place because it's intended we're going to use that to make a lot of noise and let people know that we exist. In memory of God is actually driven from the very instruction Christ gave us when he did the Last Supper. He said, "Do this in memory of me." And I thought over the years, the church or Christendom has not been able to do proper dinner to celebrate God in memory of God as he required. Because that evening wasn't just the breaking of bread and blessing of the wine. There was proper dinner. So in memory of God is an initiative that is centered towards having proper dinner with Christian community and non-Christian as well. It's a time for family and friends to hang out in a location and have proper dinner and network, and then remember God and celebrate God in that occasion. We want to make it a bigger event than the Sunday communion as we know it. We want to have moments where we are acting in memory of God. Of course, the Christian toy drive and support to other charities speaks for itself. Last year, we supported 2 charity organizations. We don't need to have too much money to give our support to these communities. We gave them those that are in the forefront of COVID-19 initiative. We are not able to do it ourselves, so we donated to them to be able to carry on the good work they are doing. One of them is Salvation Army. And then we also went ahead and supported other Christian charity. One was for during Christmas, there's some organization that look after a lot of children who are obviously not in the best place they should be. So we thought Christmas is a time to give them toys, and we donated and bought a lot of toys and presented to them gifts for Christmas. So in a nutshell, because of time, I will say this is a church of Christ that is intended to open doors for people and not just bring them to church, but bring them to the love of God and manifest it in their life through word of God through action, through positive steps. So that is our mission, and that is why we are here to have Education Committee do this career seminar. More are going to come, and I join Shegu to welcome all of you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Reverend. We appreciate that quick summary on the vision of Godways Ministry. We're all excited about where we're going. We know that God is taking us to greater heights at this moment. I'm going to call on our first guest speaker today. Her name is Naomi Imafidon. She's a healthcare professional, and she will be speaking for about 10 minutes and, sharing her experience with us and how, she got to where she is today and the challenges that she experienced in that journey. So Naomi, you're up next. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Hi, Reverend Chris.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Naomi Mafidon. I'm a registered nurse and I work at Halton Healthcare. I actually started this profession as a PSW because that was not what I was in Nigeria. I was a microbiologist. So with the way we view nurses back home is quite different from the way they view nurses here. So I went into PSW to know the difference. And there is a lot of difference. And I must tell you, this is a profession that is very noble and well respected. Thank God for COVID, at least everybody is aware of essential workers, especially the nurses. Um, it's a profession that you will never look for a job. You will be sought for. I post my resume on Indeed, and in a day, I get lots of calls. I pick and choose. I work in a place for like 2 months. I leave, go to somewhere else, you know. So for those of us who are just coming into Canada, I know it might be challenging because to be an RPN takes 2 years, and to be an RN takes 4 years. But you can start from somewhere. You can also be a PSW and you kind of transit into an RPN program. Some schools like George Brown, you can start with George Brown 2 years or 3 years, fast program 2 years. And you can also do online transit into being an RN. You can do online programs with NIPISING, which is what I did because I did an RPN program first. Then I went to NIPISING, which is an online um, program. And I did that for like 3 years, then graduated. So they have different programs for your lifestyle. You just have to be dedicated, and it's a noble profession. I really don't know what to say anymore. Um, but yes, if you have any questions, feel free to call me. I respond more to texts, WhatsApp messages. Sorry, I don't pick up my calls because when I come back home, I'm always very tired, so I don't pick up my calls. But I'll respond to WhatsApp messages, texts. Give me a day or two, I will. And also, you can also reach out to Shade or Shegun Fashola.
Thank you, Naomi. We appreciate that information session. Because of our time, we have about 7, 8 speakers, so it's really going to be a short presentation, and I know that you guys have a lot of questions that will come at the end. We also have like presentation slides that we can share with you. So from a healthcare perspective, Naomi did put together uh, a presentation with slides in it that we can share with you later. So if you want it, just send a message to Sister Shadi, or you can put a message in the chat room, and we'll be sharing that with you much later. So I'm going to call on the next person. We have a digital marketing consultant here. His name is Sele Ahigbe, and he's going to be sharing his experience and walking us through his slides. Thank you. Welcome, Sele.
Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good day or evening, wherever you may be. I just wanted to know, can I share my screen real quick? Yes, I can. Like, this is the screen I want to do. All right. Can everyone see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, so you can see. Okay, perfect. So I'm just here to talk briefly about the digital marketing industry. I currently run a digital marketing company called Chris Content. We have a team of 12 people. And can everyone hear me well? Because I've been told sometimes my AirPods don't allow for my voice to get picked up really well.
Loud and clear, Sele.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So Chris Content is a digital marketing firm that I run with a team of 12 people. It started literally in this basement that I'm sitting in right now as a content writing company where I used to just write words on websites. And then even prior to that, I used to write wedding speeches. So it's funny how God took it from speeches for weddings to helping companies build their brand online through social media, through websites, through direct marketing like ads and, even signs on billboards. Okay, so the key takeaways that we're going to be speaking on specifically are going to be, the steps jumping into the field. We're going to speak, of course, on the challenges that are going to be faced and the success factors. So I won't make this too long. So the steps into the field, to be honest, there's no actual perfect way to get into this industry, simply because there's multiple routes. So I'm somebody that I actually didn't take the educational route, even though I have a degree in communications that's listed in there. I didn't take really any of the practices that I learned in my field to start this company. I just needed a job. I put a lot of planning together. I asked my mom a lot of questions, and I just built it from there, from general research. But that's a method that if I was to do it again, I would not have done it that way. I would take an educational route where I could probably get a co-op in the school. So you can, of course, take communications, but what you'll learn from the communications program is more so crisis management and presenting information to the media. Or you can take a more direct route, like a marketing degree or a graphic design course in, somebody had mentioned George Brown. George Brown has a very good graphic design program. You can take a digital marketing course. You can take a video editing course. You can take a business marketing course. Those would be more of the educational routes that you can take, because the benefit of those routes is that you can get internships, you can get co-op opportunities, you can get placement opportunities in that immediate field so that you have the necessary work experience so that you can decide you want to freelance later and run your own company or build it into your own company at some point. Or you can work for another company on a salary, which always to me is the safer option, but it just depends on your general preference. So when I'm in this field, there's a lot of challenges that could be here. I don't want to scare anybody, but the biggest challenge that I found is the inconsistent flow of income. If once again, you're doing this yourself, as opposed to working for another company. So due to this inconsistent flow, the inconsistent flow of income comes in the fact that when you're dealing with a lot of these clients, depending on how your payment methods work, I'm somebody that does 50% down payment at the beginning, and then the remaining 50% when the project is completed. Or other times I'll divide it 33%, 33%, and 33%. The issue with that sometimes is unless they're signing very rigorous contracts, which by God's grace I now do, you can have clients paying you maybe 3-4 months after the project even started. So if you charge a client, let's say $500 for a project, you get the $250 up front. You may not see the remaining $250 3-4 months later. And the reason why that's so hard is because you can get other clients in between that time that are willing to pay more. You can tend to lose interest in the project depending on how annoying or how difficult the client may be. If you're running your own company and you're just dealing with your own life problems, that can impede you. You don't have that safety net of somebody else dealing with it all the time. Another reason for the inconsistent flow of income is because the clientele that you gather is dependent on your marketing strategies. So you can have a week where you get 3, 4, 5, maybe even 7 clients, And then maybe you have 3 weeks, the following 3 weeks, you may get zero. So that inconsistent flow of income to me is the most challenging, to be completely honest, but you're always able to get past it. Difficult clients do tend to be challenging as well, because you can vet a client really well, they can vet you, and you think they're amazing until their money is involved, and they're a lot more nitpicky. They could be substantially more difficult. They could annoy you a lot more. They could be very inconsistent in what it is that they want. They could what's it called? So sorry. They can get to a point where they may change their mind quite often. I've had situations where clients, if there's 10% of the project left, and then they just dramatically change their mind and they want a totally different project done. So how I've circumvented that is honestly just charging them 2 times more, and then they have no choice but to pay. But that's just my method. Some people aren't willing to do that. Another thing is different personality structures. So you may get some clients that come off very aggressive. You may get ones that come off very soft-spoken, or they're not very confrontational, or once again, at the last moment, they may change their mind. Conflict resolution is a big one, because they may think that they said what they wanted properly, but maybe you just interpreted it wrong. And as a result, they can get insulted. So when things like that happen, and this is where crisis management comes into effect, you have to be able to properly, I guess we could say, resolve the situation in a manner that is suitable for both parties. And sometimes that just may result in you ending the project, you cutting off your losses, and then moving on to something else. It's not every project that should be finished, because it could disastrously stress you out. It can cause a rift between the two people. Depending on who directed you to this client, it may cause a wedge in between a friendship. So I just think you need to be mindful of knowing when to cut your losses as well. Team building is tough as well, because with this business, I don't pay anybody on salary. I don't pay anybody on payroll. Everything's just very contract based. So sometimes the morale may be gone if they don't have a product they've worked on for the last month. So you have to be able to do that. And that's where the encouragement comes in. So you have to be able to understand how to encourage people, have some team building exercises. One thing I like to do is I like to hand out just random gifts to the team, where I'll just randomly send them all Starbucks gift cards. Or some people, they live in Spain, so I just send them, I just find out what restaurant is around their area, and then I get them a digital gift card for that place, just to let everybody know that I care and they all mean something to me. But the success factors are the parts that I like the best. So the way you know in this field what you can consider as successful, to me, the biggest thing is, do you have financial stability? Can this work, or this job that you have, and you see two views of clients that I work for being prime funded. Are you able to fund yourself? Are you able to meet all your needs? Are you able to take care of all your bills that you have to pay? Are you able to buy what it is that you need for yourself and your family? I think another success factor is if you have a decent stream of long-term clients. So I sign clients up for 3 to 6 to 12-month contracts. That way I always have a consistent flow of income coming in. I don't have to worry about it. Another way to know that you're successful is having excellent reviews. So are the reviews that are on your website, or are the reviews that are on Google good reviews of your company? Do you have good LinkedIn reviews? Do people speak really well of you? Another way to know you're successful is when you're constantly getting referrals. Usually when you do a good job for one client, they're excited and elated to tell another potential client about you. And then that just goes into more money. So personally, I think those are the best success factors in this business, or at least in just knowing that, hey, I'm doing a very good job. And then other ones happen as well, such as bigger and better contracts, or just more general opportunities. Maybe doors open in other fields. Maybe you get a business mentor that can help you expand your company. Scalability. Are people wanting to be a part of your team? Recently, we just brought on a co-op student because he's done some contract work for us for a few months. So he wanted to do his co-op with us, and now he loves it. Initially, he had the option of being paid or not. I just said, I'm gonna pay you because I've always paid you anyways. There's no reason why I should stop doing it. So I think those are just really good success factors when people want to be a part of your team. And here's my phone number, my email, and my website in case anybody wants to find out more information, or just wants to know a little bit more for their children in case their children want to get involved in it, or if they want to get involved in it themselves. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Sally. for that presentation. That's very interesting to know that it doesn't take too much to get into that industry, and especially the feedback on doing internship while you're in college is very, very critical to have that job experience and expose you to what you need to do when you get out in the real world. So very good, Sele. So like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, we're going to have an opportunity for questions. So please save your questions. You can put your questions on the chat, and we're going to collect the questions at the end of the guest speaking. We're going to have an opportunity to read out your questions, and these professionals will be very glad to answer those questions. So our next guest speaker is an IT consultant by profession, but she's very passionate about her career. She's passionate about what she likes to do outside of being an IT consultant. So she's looking forward at some point in down the line to start a business. Well, she already started the business, but to just branch off, because at the end of the day, there's nothing as good as being your own boss. It's always very exciting to get to that point where you can, manage your time, manage your own hours, and a lot of other flexibility that comes being your boss. So the next guest is Doreen Paul, will be presenting as a caterer. So Doreen, you're next. Please go ahead and share your screen. Thank you.
I'll give you guys a brief intro first. I hope you guys enjoyed that little intro that I tried to put together there.
Yeah, I'm already feeling like eating one.
I knew you were going to say that. Morning, everybody, or is it afternoon? Yeah, so yeah, that's it. That's my passion. I work, but this is my life. So Mide's Cuisine, that's the catering, my business, where we do all sorts of cooking and everything to do with the food presentation. I have two arms, and there's also J Buffet Boutique, which is the arm that does all the food presentation and that kind of stuff. So I'll just go through the not so interesting stuff. Learning, how do you learn to become a caterer? You can go the formal route, like everybody says. It's nice to have if you're that way inclined. Myself, I went to George Brown Pastry School just out of the passion I had for baking. And I did it as a hobby. I mean, it took me 8 years, but I did it. I did it every time I had a little break. And but I say here, core skills required. You've got to be creative. You've got to like cooking. You've got to enjoy cooking at least. You've got to have, say, food handling skills. You have to know how to use a knife, for crying out loud. You don't want to chop your fingers off before you start. Operating basic kitchen equipment, stuff like that, basic stuff. But you have to like cooking and being in the kitchen. Catering is not something you do because somebody else is doing it and it appears like they are making money. So you go start cooking when you don't know how to buy spices, okay? So some of the challenges you may encounter are, initial startup funds like every other business. But you overcome that by, planning, proper planning, and being realistic about your goals. You start small, expand when you grow. Another challenge there is the food industry has very strict rules and regulations. So getting licensing, and you have to carry a liability coverage, you have to get the food handler certificate, and you have to have this at every given time, because you can get an event, you can get something all of a sudden, and then that's not when you start running about to get those things. So you must have them, and there's a cost to having them and maintaining them as well. And then, you have competition from other vendors, which is okay. Competition is good. You just need to focus and grow what you cook best. There's this idea that one person can cook everything and cook everything well. I don't think so. I think you have, there's got to be something you like above the others, and you stick to doing that, do it very well, and then see how you do with that, and then you can expand. And then my success criteria that I've put together here is, you have to build and maintain a good reputation, first of all, because you're not going to be profitable for the first little while. So, what will keep you going is trying to build that reputation. You've got to have a good menu. You've got to cook good food, excellent communication skills. Yeah. While I may not speak excellently in other avenues, you can put me in the same place with Gordon Ramsay and I'll be comfortable talking around there. Flexibility in your schedules. People call me in the middle of the night for something happening tomorrow. You've got to be flexible that way to meet their demands if it's possible. Advertising. And then again, here I say, when you start dreaming about creative ways to differentiate your food and getting excited about testing new recipes, you know that you're heading for success. But if you're dreading every day when you wake up and things like that, you're not doing as good. And then you have consistent client base. You're getting second, third, fourth degree referrals. And what I mean by that is, for one person eats your food, and the fourth person from that eating is coming to you because they ate your food, who knows, from four people away or ago. And then being consistently profitable, because profit will start. You will start making money when you build everything else that I've said on up here. You would start seeing profits. It can be profitable, but you've got to put in the time. How am I doing for time, Bro Shegun? 2 minutes?
You're doing fantastic. Go ahead, please.
And so some closing remarks I have is that, you have to ask yourself these questions. Is starting a catering company the right choice for you? It's a decision that you have to go into. You have to be realistic about that, because if you can't take the risk of having consistent income or some stability of some sort, this is not something that you should do. But there's always the option of starting it on the side together with whatever else you already do, like I do today. It's a physically tasking and demanding job, the cooking alone. And when you have events, having to coordinate all sorts of things just to make sure that your food gets there safely and is displayed and everybody eats and everybody's happy, that can be demanding. And imagine if you have 2 or 3 events in a day, you have that to worry about. And then, closing, my own personal closing remark is, the passion I have for cooking and the great fulfillment I enjoy from while doing it is my greatest driving force. What will drive you to succeed at catering? You can contact me and we'll have a chat about it. So I hope I have given you a little bit of an idea or insight into it. And, contact me. You have Sister Shade is able to reach everybody. So that's it for me. Thanks.
All right, Sister Dorian, thank you for that. I was just wondering if you had any promotions and stuff that we can, so that we can patronize you. You can, do you deliver, or are you connected to like things like DoorDash, delivery options, or you go out and deliver, or people have to come get the food? And where are you in Toronto? Are you in Toronto, or
Yeah. I didn't think this was a marketing pitch, so I didn't get all that. I didn't get all those details, but
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can.
I'm in Oakville, and when you reach me, I can send you anything. And I try to do different things, but it depends on what my clients want.
So are you focused on Nigerian dishes, or you can specialize in other dishes too?
I cook all.
Thank you. That's very good. Thank you so much, Sister Doreen. We appreciate that presentation. Our next guest speaker, his name is Bernardo Kiri, but he's not available. He has a family emergency. So I'm going to be using that opportunity to speak from an information technology perspective. So once again, my name is Shagun Fashola, and I can be reached at my number 416-333-8285. Just like I mentioned earlier, a little bit about me. My background is in human resources, and I've evolved from there. I also have a background in public health, specializing in epidemiology. Epidemiology is the study of diseases. So um, in regards to public health and all of the craziness going on around with the pandemic, but I'm not so excited about that field. So I kind of like settled with the information technology because I find real fun doing that. I like technology. So basically, what is information technology? Information technology is the study, design, development, implementation, support, or management of computer-based information systems, particularly software applications and computer hardware. IT workers help to ensure that computers work well for people, okay? Information technology examples. So some of the things that are examples of information technology include telephone and radio equipment, performance management software for managing goal setting and performance review, software for word processing and spreadsheets, video conferencing equipment, personal computers, and content management software for blogging and collaboration. These are just one of the very few things about technology. And I'm sure that all around us these days, every single thing that we do, there's technology in it, especially the first place you want to find technology is with your phones. It is one of the very few examples that we can all relate to in terms of changes and things that are happening around us. So when you see all of those changes, you wonder how that gets done. There are people that actually work behind the scenes to make these things happen. So information technology is also one of the fastest growing careers. It's really, really fast. Like everything around you has become technology. Now, what does it take to become an IT person? You don't need a university degree to get into IT. You can take, like, once you have your high school degree, you can take like courses in colleges and certifications, and you can get into information technology. But more importantly, what you really need are some basic skills, like some soft skills, communication skills, organization skills, analytical abilities, creativity, project management skills, perseverance, problem solving, resourcefulness, because people look at you as a problem solver. You have to have those, you have to have, a thing for trying to solve problems all the time. You have to think through ways, thinking outside of the box. It's called thinking outside of the box. Think in ways that not everybody thinks. Like you have to come out and think from a different point of view, come up with some ideas in finding solutions to problems. Now, technical skills, we have programming languages, common operating systems, software proficiency, technical writing, project management, data analysis. So these are skills that you have to acquire. These are skills that you have to learn. These are training that you have to look for and do. So these are things that would evolve you depending on the area of information technology that you choose to branch off to. Now, what are the challenges for first timers? All right, one of the biggest challenges is lack of information. A lot of people don't have information as to what to do. A lot of people don't know how to go about, career opportunities, what's out there, what's paying good, what are the quick wins that I can have, what are the courses that I can take that can, in a few days, weeks, that can change my earning capability. And also inadequate training and understanding of key concepts. Some people take training, but they don't have that in-depth training enough to understand what needs to get done. And by so doing, they have challenges when they get on the job. So you have to take proper training, look for the right training in the right career path. Then also the inability to understand the scope of work when you get on the job. What exactly are you supposed to do? As an IT person, you need to, first of all, understand your role. What is your role in relation to other roles in the team? Because you're going to be working with a team of IT personnel as well. So where do you stand? What do you do in relation? How does your role impact the other roles that exist in the project environment. And you're also the challenges of the inability to determine the next step. So those are one of the major challenges that IT personnel, first timers face. But how do you mitigate these challenges? Okay, so one of the ways of mitigating these challenges is to take training courses. Make sure that you're taking the right training courses in enough level of detail that will get your foot in the door. And you have to continue to improve yourself. You can't just take a training today and just expect that will elevate you or take you to the next level. No, it's consistent training, consistent learning, and it never stops, because IT, information technology, is constantly evolving. It doesn't sit in one place. There are lots of changes that happen all the time. So you have to make sure that you're educating yourself by taking various courses. Now, then you also have to continue to research. Like I mentioned, your research continues after the training. It doesn't stop. You have to continue to, go online. There's so much information online. You have to guide yourself by the background of the training that you have, and to make sure that you're consistently looking for ways to improve yourself. Because to better yourself in the IT industry, you have to constantly try to make sure that you do a lot of research and know what's out there. You want to make sure that you join online forums. Those are very, very important in different capacities. Then more importantly in this industry, it's good to have a mentor in whatever career path that you choose. Outside of information technology, you should have a mentor. I have a mentor in every area of my life, not just information technology, because when I see something that is going to be of benefit to me, I try to align myself with those that have achieved that in that industry or in that area of career. So, and I position myself to work with that mentor and constantly sharing ideas, information, and the mentors also learn from you as well. So you want to make sure that you align yourself with somebody who is an experienced professional in that area of IT that you're looking to work in. Then you also have to attend brainstorming sessions, because you don't know it all. Whatever community that you are in, even if it's friends that work in a similar industry or area of IT, you want to make sure that you all get together from time to time. And with the way things are now, you can get together in a collaborative environment, just like we're doing right now, using Zoom. These are ways that you can form groups and collaborate amongst yourselves and have conversations about what's going on in the industry, and make sure that you're consistently updated on information. And also writing professional certifications is a very good way to make sure that you're up to date, because there's so many software solutions, so many areas of information technology, that the more certifications you can get as you go along, the more chances of your growth, because things continue to change as things happen. Things change. Like right now, there's in information technology, there's cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is very major right now. And this is an industry where a lot of the IT people are taking professional courses in to elevate themselves, to advance, and to be able to branch out. So you might be working in a particular area of IT now that down the line might require you to have some certification in cybersecurity. So you don't stop at where you're at to build and grow your career in information technology. All right, so types of information technology jobs that exist. We have information security analyst, which is a cyber security person. We have artificial intelligence. That's also gaining a lot of grounds these days. AI is huge right now. It's moving very fast. So that's an area that you want to get into. You can do some research on it. A business analyst, like myself, it's a very good industry. One of the interesting things about business analysis, and I can say that personally, is it doesn't take as much out of all the IT professions that exist, especially on this list, to get into. It's a field that you can take a few days of classes. I, for one, I'm a training consultant in business analysis, and I train people that want to get into business analysis, first timers, and with a 4-day training, you can become a business analyst. And especially the reason why it's so easy to become a business analyst is that easily about 50% of what you're going to do as a business analyst, you must have experienced in your previous employment or you're currently experiencing it. So it just makes it very easy for you to get your foot into the door. And with the other things that you have to learn through the training and better yourself with, it just comes natural to be a business analyst. An average person, and basically what we're doing right now, there's a lot of business analysis involved in it. So I'm very passionate about that. And I'll say I'm a little biased about business analysis. So software engineering as well, project manager is also the next level from an information technology perspective, because in any IT project, you need a project manager to oversee that project. So basically, data analyst, quality assurance, a software tester, a database administrator, an agile coach. So these are all courses that you can take. A lot of them, once you have the basic knowledge, you have the first degree most of the time, and you can also branch out and take all these professional exams to become and take trainings as well to get along in this career path. Now, from a salary perspective, these different professions pay very well. They pay very well. From an entry-level perspective all the way up. We have cybersecurity staff from anywhere from 65K to 240,000. AI from 75 to 190. Business analysts about 70 to 230K. 230K at the top of your career with a lot of experience and a lot of certifications to come along with it. You can be earning that much. Software engineer is at the top of that list. Project manager, these are all salaries. I can share this slide with you if you request for it, so that you can get to see. So that's basically my presentation from an information technology perspective. There's so much, it's such an interesting industry. There's so much to do. There's so many areas you can get into, and there's so many ways you can even start to get your foot into the door. You can be a project coordinator. There's so many courses, so many software programs that you can get certification on and get yourself into the IT industry. So, like I said, I'm biased about it because I work in that industry. So, I mean, at least I can tell you that it's easy to get in. So that being said, not to take a lot of your time, I know we have other people that need to speak. So our next speaker right now is a professional at what he does, and I've been involved in a lot of real estate deals with him. He's very experienced, he's very professional, he understands the industry quite well. His name is Folu Akindoni. So Folu, you're up next. Please introduce yourself and tell us, share your experience with us. We want to know.
Absolutely. I'll share my screen here. Can everybody see this? And can everybody hear me?
Loud and clear, Folu.
Excellent. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Folu Akinduni, and I am a real estate professional. A little bit about myself. I have a wife, a 4-year-old daughter. I started out in the real estate industry as an investor. I worked in the banking industry for 9 years, and in 2017, I decided to get my real estate license to help people with all their real estate needs, like leasing, buying, selling, and investing. I believe real estate is one of the best ways of building wealth. I work with Dreammaker Corporation, which is an asset management company with a real estate brokerage arm called Dreammaker Realty and a development arm. I'm currently in the brokerage office located in the first building we developed and built in Toronto, right across from Yorkdale Mall. I can spend hours talking about real estate and different aspects of it, but I only have a few minutes today, so I'll focus on the career aspect of the industry. If you are looking to help people conduct real estate transactions and be paid for it, the first thing you'll need is to get licensed because it is a regulated industry. Now, what does that look like? It's a three-step process to do this. You'll need to complete the Real Estate Council of Ontario, otherwise known as RECO, pre-registration courses and pass the exams. Once you've completed this, you can register with RECO. And after registering, you can start working with a brokerage and build and buy and sell real estate for your clients. Then you'll have the post-registration phase, which I'll touch on shortly. In the pre-registration phase, you must complete 5 courses and 2 simulations. The simulations is where learners would apply what they've learned and their knowledge gained from the course in a realistic simulated interaction. You will need to pass each exam before moving on to the next course. The courses are now delivered by Humber College on behalf of RECO. Prior to September 2019, the courses were being delivered by Ontario Real Estate Association College. You will need to dedicate quite a bit of hours reading and studying these courses, but it will give you the knowledge you need to get started. When you complete the pre-registration phase and pass the necessary exams, you'll become eligible to register with RECO. You will have 12 months from completion to complete your registration. After registration, you can start working with a brokerage and conduct real estate transactions. You are required to renew your license every 2 years. So within your first 2-year cycle, known as the post-registration phase, you must complete compliance course and 2 elective courses. In terms of the associated cost, the total cost of the real estate salesperson program is approximately $4,160. The annual board fees and dues, which vary from board to board, and your professional liability insurance, approximately $1,715. You will also have ongoing fees and costs, which vary from person to person and how you're building your business or how big your business is. These fees will include things like brokerage fees, your marketing, miscellaneous expenses like your gas, phone bill, websites. The total can cost you approximately $2,000 per month or higher, but the costs depend on how many expenses you have and what how much you're spending on your marketing efforts, etc. Now, it's important to have a plan before getting started on your real estate journey. You should decide if you'll be part-time or full-time. If you're full-time, you should have savings or capital to help you get started because the income is not fixed. It's purely commission. It's you're only paid when there's a successful transaction. So budgeting is very important. When you get revenue, how you allocate it to is also important. So your business continues to thrive. How you use your time is also very important, and to spend most of it on income generating activities. Getting out of your comfort zone may be one of the biggest challenges because you will eventually need clients that are outside your warm market, which means people that you know, and you will need to prospect for these people. So this may require you to do things and activities you're not normally comfortable with, like public speaking. Willing to continuously learn is another challenge to overcome because you have to be motivated. and even pay for further education. So a day in the life of a real estate professional, a typical day would be speaking to clients to identify their needs, answering their questions, providing advice based on marketing activities you may have done, or through referrals you may have new leads. So you will want to follow up with them, and the goal will be trying to convert them to become your clients. Taking clients to see properties and writing offer contracts to successfully buy a property, listing properties and reviewing incoming offers with your clients, and coordinating a successful sale. Research is very important, whether it's research of neighborhoods, schools, amenities, or research to increase your knowledge of a particular area or market that you want to increase your presence in, or even research of the economics that make an area a good place to invest in, so that you can present investment opportunities to your clients. Now, success in the business, the success will look different for each person. For me, my client's success and their happiness with my service and advice is a good indication I was successful at what I set out to do. The income is not fixed, so financial freedom is a great possibility. Personal freedom is also possible. You decide when you want to take time off and do what you want and what's most important to you. So if that's spending more time with, with your family, or being more involved in your children's lives, or even taking vacations, you decide when and how long you're going to do that. Getting access to investment opportunities ahead of most people, due to the relationship and networks that you've nurtured over time, is very powerful from an investment standpoint, or in a hot seller's market, which we're currently in. Another indication for success would be when others let you know when that you've inspired them, or even motivated them and want to work with you in order to set themselves on a different path. So all are great indications that you're doing something right, in the business. Now, the professionals you need on your team and to surround yourself around, it's a good idea to have a network of good professionals your clients will need in the transaction process of a home purchase or sale. So a mortgage broker to help your clients obtain a mortgage and provide detailed mortgage advice. Insurance broker to help with all their insurance needs. A lawyer will be needed when buying and selling a property. An accountant to provide tax advice, because you really, as an agent, you can't put yourself out to provide professional advice, for example, tax or legal. You will need to refer your clients to these professionals. A home inspector to make sure your clients are buying a property that won't be a money pit. A stager that will make your client's home look appealing in order to get their home sold a lot faster. A contractor for when clients need construction work done. Media company will take good professional videos and pictures for your clients' homes and make it look presentable. And you can also use this for yourself for marketing and things like that. If your clients don't already have someone that they're working with in these areas, working with you would be like a one-stop shop, which makes your clients' lives a lot easier. Being a real estate professional is a rewarding career. It is a lot of work, especially in the beginning, but you get results based on what you put into it. Every transaction is different. Every client is different. every day offers personal freedom and the opportunity to live the life the way you want. So I'd like to thank you all again for having me here today to tell you a little bit about what I do. If you do have any questions, you can ask me during the question and answer section, and you can always take it offline. Thank you.
All right, Folu, thank you. Thank you so much for that presentation. That was very interesting to understand that in the real estate industry, there's so many other players involved and that you have to work with and you have to relate with. So
Absolutely.
Folu, like having worked with Folu for a few years now, he's very well situated. So he's well aligned with all these other professionals that will support you in any real estate deal that you're about to get into. So don't hesitate to reach out to Folu. He's always available to speak with you from that perspective. Real estate, I'm stressing real estate right now because it's a very interesting aspect of what's going on around us right now. Everything it's kind of exciting for those that have invested, but not so good for those that haven't invested yet. So if you're looking to invest, there's still opportunities out there, just like Folu mentioned. There's a lot of things going on around. You just have to dig into your savings and a lot of other opportunities. So don't think that it's impossible for you to actually invest, because there are the opportunities of financing and a lot of other things that you don't know about that Folu will be glad to share with you. So thank you, Folu. So our next guest don't need no introduction, at least from my perspective. He's my personal friend. He's my business partner as well for many years. He's going to speak to us today about how to start your own business. Him and I have been in business together for years. We work together in the same information technology industry, and he'll share a little bit with us on, for those of you that want to start a business, what you need to know, how to go about starting that business. Because at some point, and I'll tell you, at some point, you need to be your own boss. There's nothing as good as being your own boss. I'm working towards that myself. I am a boss in my own way in many different areas, but I'm looking to completely elevate myself and just move away from this 9 to 5. I want to be like Folu as an example. He has flexibility of his time and he's able to manage the time. And also the pastor, he has that flexibility. Reverend Tricks has his own time as well. So it doesn't get better than that. That's the height of being your own boss. So Jai Williams is our next guest speaker. He's going to talk to us about starting your own business. Welcome, Jai.
Thanks, Jacob. Thanks for that intro. Thanks for setting the bar high for me, but appreciate it, man. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jai Williams, and I'm going to talk to you about essentially starting a business, like what it involves, what you need to know. A little background about me. Like Shagman mentioned, I'm an IT professional, married with a toddler, and I'm sure you hear him running around. So I apologize up front if there's a lot of noise in the background. I'm located in the Toronto area. My work with IT is mainly with the federal government of Canada, and yeah, that's a little bit. Now, starting the business, essentially everyone here has kind of touched on it, because in order to start a business, you have to have something. So let me just share my screen very quickly, so at least you guys can see. And let me know when you can see my screen. Yeah, that's the presentation. Can everyone see it?
Not yet.
How about now?
Not quite. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. So that's in the business. Business ownership and entrepreneurship, they kind of go hand in hand. Essentially, why I prepared this slide is because I just wanted to share with you, some of those things that everyone has really talked about in owning your own business, or being a professional, or just doing something on your own. As a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. basically you're translating an idea to a reality. So something that comes off as a passion, you want to make it a reality. And in other words, you want to generate profit from it. Like someone here mentioned, they're in, I think she's in IT, but she's also a caterer. She likes to cater. That's an idea that you have, and that's a passion as well. So you translate that into a reality. As a business owner, you're also a risk taker in the sense that you try to make decisions, big decisions by yourself. And essentially you take on the risk. So anything that happens is on you. So business ownership, it ranges for everyone in different ways. And it could be in the form of a passion, and I'll talk about that later, maybe a need, but essentially you're trying to translate the need to reality. That's the main focus of business ownership, and to be your own boss. What I can share with you about starting a business are questions you need to ask. And I go about that with the 5 W's and H. It's a very good practice to adopt, because that's how you answer questions for yourself and even for others as well. In anything you do, I think this is a good basis for going into anything. So for business, why start a business? Why register a business? What kind of business can one register? When can one register a business? Where does one register a business? Who and how can one register a business? So these are some of the things or questions you need to ask yourself when you're starting off a business. So why? Why would you want to register a business? And I think that's the key question. Everyone here has talked about their profession, like someone just mentioned now, he's a realtor. Why did he register his business? Well, because he's trying to translate an idea to reality. He's a realtor, and he needs to register that business so that at least it's recognized. A lot of times people just have ideas and passions, but they don't know what next step to take. Now, if you have something, you have a passion, you want to do something, register a business. And I encourage everyone, like, even if you don't know what it's all about, but you want to start up something, you have to register a business. And the reason, because there are many benefits to doing that. As an individual collecting salaries, yeah, the taxes are taken off. But if you have a business, there's so many advantages to it. You can write off many things you purchase, many things you do. It's advantageous, and you can always check online for more details. But I'm just here to give you an idea of, what it is that you need to do for starting a business and why. So it's more about, there's a need, there's a passion on the subject matter, or as a professional. So Shegu is an IT professional. I'm an IT professional, but I work for my own. So I need to register a business in order to be able to declare taxes or whatever it is that I'm doing. So the why is very important, that you need to ask yourself that question. Why do I want to start a business? The next thing is, what kind of business do I get into? It just depends. There are different types of businesses that you can register. So there's a sole proprietorship, in which you and your organization are one. There's partnership, in which you partner with different people or partner with a different organization to register, to come together as a business. There's a corporation, in which you and your corporation are separate entities. And this has to do with liabilities. If you go into a business registered as a corporation, if anything happens, you're not liable, but your corporation is liable. So there are many advantages and disadvantages to each of these. And then there's not-for-profit. A church, as an example, would be considered not-for-profit or a charitable organization. So there are different kinds of businesses that you can register. Again, all this information is online. I'm just giving you a brief synopsis of what a business is and what kind of business you can register, but there's more information online. But this is just a summary of the kind of businesses that do exist. And then the when. So when do I start up a business? And I think that's a key question, because a lot of people would be like, well, I don't know when to start my business. Like, I have an idea, but I don't know what to do. It goes back to the question of the why. Why do you want to start up your business? Once you're at a stage when you want to start your business, and I think it's not just about, people think that business can be started only by certain age groups or limits. No, that's not the case. You can start a business anytime. It depends on the stage you are in life, what your circumstances are, and when you decide to go about doing the business, if you have a good market research analysis, if you've been able to do your homework, your due diligence as to what kind of business it is that you're trying to do and why you're trying to set it up, and then you can go into business. My wife and I were thinking about starting up an appliance business, for an example. That's a good time to, set up a business or go into it, because it's not about the fact that, okay, well, we have to wait until, we have enough money, or if you have a passion for something or you find a need, you can go into starting a business. It's any time is a good time, so to speak. Let me put it that way. You don't have to wait. Pastor mentioned when he got called, he started a church, right? So it's all about the stages in life to when you want to start a business. So there's no opportune time to say, yes, this is a good time. You can be 40, you can be 18, you can be 90, you can start a business. Where? So we're in Canada, so I can only speak to Canada, because I know Nigerian standards might be different, the UK standards might be different, but in Canada, you can actually register your business online. The Government of Canada website provides good information on registering your business, and you could do it online or by mail or in person. I mean, this day and age, you can't really go anywhere. You have to do most stuff online, so that's how we go about it. Folks might ask, okay, so if you want to start a business, like, where do you go online? And I have some information about that in terms of the how, but Government of Canada is a very good resource for you to go to in terms of where you want to start your business. And I'll share that after the presentation as well. Now, the other question is, who can start a business? Anyone. Really, even if you're under the age of 18, for the most part, people think that kids can't start businesses. Yes, they can. They just need a legal guardian to guide them and register the business. So anyone can start a business. It doesn't matter, like what your age limit is. But of course, it's within reason. I'm not saying like an infant can start a business because they don't really know what they want. But I mean, you see kids have their own businesses, but they have guardians with them as well. You could be 50 or 60. It doesn't matter. There's no age restriction to who can start a business. I think in some cases, there's some things you have to look into, like legalities in terms of criminal records and stuff. But I don't anticipate that anyone here has that. So you don't need to worry about that. So anyone can start a business is the main reason or rationale behind that. And then how do you start a business? So this is some available resource that I thought would be helpful for anyone who's thinking about starting a business. Give or take is about $220 to register your business online. It's a same-day service. You can either register your business as a numbered corporation or as a name corporation, so you can include your name, and that depends on whether you go with the sole proprietorship or the corporation route. When I registered my business, it took me 24 hours, and I got my business number and everything registered. So it's a very easy process. The key thing about this whole becoming a business owner and entrepreneur is, as long as you have an idea, you have a passion for something, or you realize that you want to start generating profits, or not necessarily even profits, but you want to register something for tax implications and all, it's a very good idea to start a business. And I encourage everyone to, think about it. If there's something in your mind you've been thinking about, go ahead and do it. Like I mentioned, it's online. It's free to go online and search. Not free to register, but it's free to go online and do your research. But the cost of registering your business is $220, give or take, to do it online, and you get your results within 24 hours. I think for me, the most important thing is the next slide. What do you do before you register a business? And I think this is key to anything in life. Prayer. You want to go into a business, you have an opportunity, you have an idea. And this is one of my favorite quotes from Ezra Taft Benson. It's more about, you have to put God first in everything that you do, because he helps you to prioritize, and it also helps you to think. So prayer is very important before you start your business. If you have any questions, I think the first person to ask is God, because he gives you the answers. Afterwards, of course, you can reach out to Segun, and they can reach out to me if you have any questions about registering your business, and I'll be more than available to give you more insights or any questions that you want answered. So thanks, everyone.
Jai, if I heard you clearly, did you just say after God, you can reach out to me?
Well, you know what I mean. After God, give you answers, and you need some questions about registering the business. Yes, but no, that's not. I'm not after God. No, don't put it that way. That's something. But yeah, nice one. That was a good question. Yeah.
All right.
yeah, you can reach out to me, but please make sure you pray first. I think that's more important. I think you should reach out to Pastor even before you even think about coming to me.
Thank you so much, Jai.
Now, first we had Shegu, and I was glad. I said, wow, it's a new learning.
Oh my God. That was good. Thank you so much, Jai, for that presentation. That was very, very informative. There's no one too young to start a business. And I can tell you from experience, I even have my kids trying to start a business right now. They're YouTubers, they're different things technology has created a lot of opportunities for starting your own business. I have my kids, like every day when I go out and I come back, and they come to me and like, Dad, can I have your receipt? I'm like, what do you want my receipt for? And they take my receipt and they scan it. And apparently they signed up for something where they can scan receipts and they get points towards getting Amazon gift cards. I'm like, what's going on today has no limit. And they're making money off of it. There's no limit to really starting a business. But whatever it is, you need some guidance to properly align it, to make sure that you're doing all the right things to pay your taxes. And, the government is going to come after you, whatever you do, to make sure that you're on the right side of the law. But that being said, being on the right side of the law, we have somebody who's a professional at being on the right side of the law. I don't even want to get into trouble with the law, that I will need to reach out to him to help me, because I already bother him enough for a lot of other things in my personal life. That being said, the next guest is no other person other than our Reverend, our pastor, Reverend Chooks Okoye. He's going to present to us the law profession, what it takes to be a lawyer, and all of the other things that you need to know. So, Reverend Chooks, the stage is yours, sir. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. I thought I was going to come last. Okay. I didn't see this coming now. All right. It looks like
you are last, sir.
Oh, am I last? Okay. I thought we have more. We missed one person, is it?
Yeah, Bernard, he has a family emergency, so he's not able to join us.
Oh, that's why. Right. Okay. Let me try again. I did it before. I can do it again. Great. Okay. I'm going to start by trying to share how to become a lawyer in Canada. As already been pointed out, these jurisdictions can be different. Jai made that point about starting business, and indeed it's the same with profession and anything you want to do. Even in Canada, the provinces are different, not to talk of countries. So because the provinces are different in Canada, there is areas of uniform and there are areas of differences. For starters, if you want to be a lawyer, like it's already been said, in the heart of it is to be interested in it. It's always going to be something of interest to you, something that you think you want to be part of, you want to get involved in, and why do you want to do that? Everything that is said about starting business applies to becoming a professional of any kind. You need to deal with those questions yourself and answer them. There are always going to be the obvious part of this, which is to get yourself admission in a university in Canada to study law. There are many universities, you can find them online, that can assist you in knowing what requirements you need to study law. But then I can tell you, no matter what degree you have and you still want to do law, you can always apply to a university to become a lawyer. But in terms of foreign lawyers, where I fall, and many lawyers from outside Canada, those who became lawyer in any other jurisdiction apart from Canada, You have the National Committee on Accreditation, normally they call them NCA. Basically, because of jurisdictional differences in Canada, you have this body dealing with the regulation of foreign lawyers. And what they first will want you to do is to apply to them and get accredited by them. First, they're going to say if you're eligible to study, to embark on the process of qualifying in the UK, sorry, in Canada. Sorry, I'm getting, somebody is helping me with this and getting me distracted. Those who do presentation every day think I can do better than I'm doing. So that you don't wonder what am I doing. See, they've chopped off some part of my screen. They can't bear the thought of seeing me doing it my way as per Old Testament people. Okay, it looks nicer though. I thank you, madam. Right, okay. So as foreign lawyer, you need this body to first say, okay, you're qualified to go through this route. Okay, we give you the certificate of eligibility. So now that we have given you that, we give you these following courses. They're going to give you the number of courses you need to study and pass. They set the exam, they run the exam, I think, every 6 months or so. So you're going to have a portal with them, and they're going to feed your portal with information, and you can actually always look out for what there are for passing the NCA exam. That's one route. There are universities as well that run this course, but they kind of put it into a master's degree model. So those things the NCA will require you to do, you can do a master's degree that incorporates those requirements, so that when you finish that master's degree, the university sends the transcript to NCA and say, you satisfy the academic requirement to become a lawyer in Canada as a foreign lawyer. Then when you've done that, just like when you graduate from law school, like finishing your degree in law, there is always going to be the bar exam waiting. The Ontario bar exam is a different type of exam because it's different from what you will get in some provinces. Ontario requires you to do an exam that is divided into two, the barrister exam and the solicitor exam. It's multiple choice question. For me, I call it test of speed than test of knowledge, really, because there's so many questions to answer within such short time. So when you pass that, then you apply to the Law Society of Ontario for bar call. But before then, they will require you to do articling in a law firm. There is room to apply for exemption if you have other experience in another jurisdiction, or even in Canada working in a law firm. You can satisfy them by saying, I don't need this articling because already I've done a lot in law, and I need you either exempt me or abridge it. So you can get one of those. When you get that done, then you're due to be registered as a lawyer. You're going to apply to the Law Society of the province where you are planning to be called to bar, and obviously going to be following the model of that province. I have here the Ontario bar, and then I have the Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba who adopt the CPLED option, which is the Practice Readiness Education Program. They simply have a body that run a different type of course. Basically, they train you, they give you assignments, you keep passing the assignment, and then you get to the final exam. It's like just any school where you go to study for a certificate, except that this is preparing you for legal practice. So normally they have 2 intakes a year, which is often in June and November. So if you miss June, you're going to wait till November. So there's a bit of planning that will go in this. And I missed that point. When you have finished your exams with NCA and passed everything, they give you the certificate they call certificate of eligibility. What that means is that you're now eligible to go ahead and do the bar exam, or you're now eligible to go ahead and do the Canadian Center for Professional Legal Education course, which some other provinces like Alberta will do. So when you've completed that, then you have a date for bar call. Normally, you choose when you want to be called. Once you satisfy all the requirements, some places like Alberta or Saskatchewan or Manitoba want you to give a month notice. Then, because they're going to do all the background check, before you even get there, you would have filled a very lengthy form satisfying them that you are a person of good character as well as without criminal record. So they will do their check and be sure that you are who you say you are. So by the time you're again about to be called to bar, they will also run the check again. That's why they need that 1 month notice to do those checks. So when they're satisfied and the date is fixed, I mean, it's different from jurisdiction. The back call ceremony. In a place like in Ontario, they're just going to issue you a certificate and tell you you're called to bar. So then they have a time of ceremony for everyone within that time. Somewhere like in Alberta, they're going to have your celebration just for you. So the judge is the one that called you to bar. He does the celebration and he leads the proceedings of the day. So now you're called to bar, you're excited, and you say to yourself, I worked this hard and I got this certificate. What do I do with it? You got a choice. You either choose to go into employment of some kind, or you want to choose to set up a business, as Jay just pointed out. You choose to set up a business. In all those different types of businesses he mentioned, there is also what is called the professional corporation, which is simply for people like lawyers and doctors and all those pharmacists. If you want to run your firm as a limited company, which benefits from that point he made, that you're separated from the liability of the company. So you may choose to become a sole practitioner, which is very popular as well, because as a beginner, it may well be easier to set up as a sole practitioner, because you simply go to the registry and register the business name, send it to the law society, they okay it, you're on. You go get your tax number, you start the next day, you're good to go. So if you have opportunity for job offer, obviously, you may choose to be employed in some organization, and there are many places you can go looking for job. But more importantly is to understand that to be in your private practice requires a lot of responsibility because there are regulatory requirements in terms of how you keep your accounts, how you report to the law society, because you're going to be allowed to keep the trust account and the general account, which trust account is an important thing. When Folu mentioned the lawyers part of the real estate world, normally trust account is where the bank pays the money for your client if he's buying a property. So it's a lot of money coming into those accounts. So those are regulated. You report regularly on this account. But these days there are softwares that are also tailored for legal profession, and that way you're able to comply with these requirements, and the regulatory body are happy with it, but because they can easily audit you looking at those software requirements. So that's more like, in a nutshell, what you may need to do to become a lawyer in Canada. And again, if you're a lawyer in one jurisdiction, you may not be allowed to practice in another jurisdiction unless you transfer your qualification to that jurisdiction. Before it wasn't there, but now they have the mobility requirement. You don't need to sit any exam. You just need to apply to the relevant law society you want to base, and then do the paperwork, and that way you pay their fees and you're part of that particular province. So I don't know how much time we have, but I was trying to talk about briefly, for those who may not want to be a lawyer, to have something out of this. So I thought maybe I say one or two things about immigration law of Canada, especially the work permit side of it, because that may well be a broad one that cut across any person who wants to earn a living in Canada. There are lots of opportunities that exist in the work permit provisions of the immigration law of Canada. You may see something like business visitor and business people. They are not really the same. Business people are predominantly those people from, well, kind of the word that derive from some Canadian United States Mexico agreement and other trade agreements that call these people from Canada, from US and Mexico, business people. Basically, they have those provisions that allow people from those countries to come to Canada as business people and set up and do those businesses provided in those international agreements. Business visitors are mainly people who come to do business in Canada. They may not need work permit if they're going to be here like 6 months, the same way that a visitor visa will work is to come in and do what you come to do and get out. But then if you want to then live in Canada and work, you're going to need work permit. There are lots of other opportunities for religious leaders and religious workers. The religious leaders and religious workers are not the same people. The law tries to differentiate them, and it calls religious leaders the religious instructors and those promoting faith and people sharing belief of religion to community and also follow spiritual teaching of faith. This will include liturgical workers and people who are operating in the religious kind of thing, non-monks, religious brothers, and the education, those educating in religion. I say this because you may know somebody who may be who may qualify or be interested in that. It's often a dormant area because he's there, I guess, because not many people avail themselves of that opportunity. It hasn't become an issue. Religious workers will be those promoting religion as well, but the difference is that unlike the liturgical workers, they are people who are under minor instruction in terms of they don't own a church, they don't run a church, they're simply working in a church. Or I say a church, it's actually not just a church, it's religion. So that it doesn't need to be Christian religion. So any religion will do. And the cynical approach is that if you want to say your father's Ogun is religion, and you want to begin to train and preach on the Ogun, the Juju operation in Africa, you probably get away with convincing that it's a religion and that is what you're a priest of one of those. And the law will begin to look at you with acceptance, actually, because it's religion. So that we understand it, we know the Muslim religion will pass easily, but because there are two major religions, the Christian and Muslim, but there is the traditional religion. There is also the African traditional religion. So there are those complicated area of law that could be interesting when somebody begins to explore it for purposes of staying, being allowed to live in Canada. So I think this derives from the fact that the Constitution of Canada, strangely, says that the Constitution is prim to the good conscience and then to the law and to God. So they have a provision in the highest law of the country that the authority of God is supreme. and that of the law, and so that if you have a religion you are committed to, they will listen to you. So that you have two main types of work permit, which is the open work permit, and then you have the employer-specific work permit. I mean, they are self-explanatory. The specific one binds you to the employer that has applied for you to gain this work permit. The open one, the open one allows you to take any employment. But before I finish on the point of religious leader, as a religious leader, you don't actually need work permit to work. That's the interesting thing. But it's always advisable to apply for work permit because that gives you legitimacy and gives you document to show, so that you're applying for work permit is simply to fulfill all righteousness. It's like granted before you apply, so that people will understand the possibilities that this presents as well. So you have the full-time student or who are also not required to apply for work permit. So you are entitled to work 20 hours during school term, and then during holidays you can work full-time. So if you are a student and you're finishing your course in school, make sure your permit to remain does not expire, because if it expires, you're finished. But before it expires, you are also allowed to now apply for work permits before it expires, and until decision is made, you're still allowed to live and work in Canada. So a strategic move is to have an eye on when your visa as a student will run out, and before that runs out, you apply to the government for work permit. They are likely to consider it, and that can go under the open work permit application, because the specific ones will require you to really point to the employer that you're relying on to make this application, and that employer will have to back you to be able to pull through that particular option. But if you're making an open application as a student who is going, for instance, going into a postgraduate course, you can actually apply for work permit because you just finished study and you're looking for work. So you have those opportunities. There is potential to apply for work permit in or outside of Canada. So either way, you can apply for work permit. There are subtle variations in which option you choose and what the requirements are. There are lots of requirements that may be needed if you're applying for work permit, whether in or outside of Canada. But there are some that run through any application you made, like you have to provide evidence of your character, you have to show you're healthy, every of those biometrics requirements to show that you are a fit person to embark on that job. You're going to provide all those documents. There are a lot more to say, but I do understand that I have 10 minutes and I may have exceeded it. So the last thing I say is thank you very much. And let me borrow from Jai, remember to pray before you do these words too. He is the pastor today, and we have to just accept that. God bless you all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Reverend Chooks. There's one particular area of what you talked about that sounds to me like a conflict of interest. You're a pastor and you're a lawyer, and you can bring juju people from Africa. So I don't know how you're going to be able to manage that and deal with that conflict, but it sounds to me like a conflict.
Let me respond.
Go ahead, sir.
The only way you perish is that you don't know juju people exist. You see, because the knowledge is power, and it makes a whole lot of difference. The tragedy of Christian religion and most Christians is that they choose to bury their head and reject the reality that is right before them in the presumed piousness that is elusive. And the way to approach life and living is to be open to knowledge, and you gather it and choose what to keep and what to reject. So knowing that, in fact, we know little about what the Juju people do, to be honest. If we can know more, it will be better for us. So we know where to wait for them and kill them if we want to kill the Juju. If you don't know it, where do you start to battle them? So
I think we should have a special session on this Juju matter so that we can have
okay.
We can discuss in detail. But I mean, it's so interesting. Thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you so much for that insightful. I mean, there's so many things you just spoke about that I had absolutely no clue about, and it's so interesting to see how Canada law is in itself. So, based on all of the speakers today and all of the professionals that have come through today, this is just the idea behind this event. Us at Godways International Ministry Canada campus to get to know one another, to understand the professions that we do and the businesses that we do, and to reach out to ourselves, before taking the business elsewhere. So that's the idea behind this, and we're going to be having lots of events in the education committee coming. And as a matter of fact, we're going to look into law particularly, and we're going to find a good session where the Reverend can go into more detail to share information with us, and also real estate. And there's so many areas of business that can really take some good time. So that being said, it's questions and answer time. I know I did mention at the beginning for you to put your messages in the chat, but if you have any questions, you can just raise your hand and you can ask the question. We can allow you to ask your question, and you can just speak. So if there's anyone that has a question, please raise your hand. There's a tool there that allows you in Zoom to raise your hand. I'd like to see your hands up. If you have a question for any of the professionals that I've spoken today, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions, that you can ask. There's no wrong question. There has question, did you, in terms of how does that relate to you in your own experience, your career path, what you're looking to do? Does it speak to you? I'm sure you have one or two questions somewhere. Anybody? I don't see any hands up yet.
Let me ask a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, and that is, I have a couple of questions. First is to Doreen, and that is if COVID is gone and we're going to have events face to face, are we going to have free food to test?
Standard. That one is. I'm always in one of my I think I said the success criteria. Is it success criteria training? You have to do a lot of sample drop-offs, but I'm past that stage now. But I'll do anything for the church. Hold me to it.
Of course, I will. So I look forward to the face-to-face one because of the food.
No problem at all.
And then to Jaye, can I ask, you did tell us about starting business a couple of times and businesses you've started. Can you take us into business you have started?
Yeah, there are actually two businesses I started. The first is as a professional, my IT consulting. So Shego and I, worked on this, but we started about the same time actually as IT professional. So I registered as a corporation, essentially meaning that Jai is different from Jai Will Solutions. Jai is also different from FW Focus Innovation. So it's one of those things where you have to figure out what works best. So that was me registering as an incorporation with myself and Shegun, and then registered the business as FW Focus Innovations as well. Then I also registered the business, my wife and I, wanted to go into selling appliances. So we registered that as a partnership with another business itself. So it's almost like you as an individual, you can register several businesses, and the law allows for it. Actually, it's not like I'm trying to cheat the law or anything. No, it allows for it, and it's actually good practice because each business has its own set of rules and liabilities. So for instance, I can't register as an IT professional and register another business under that being IT professional as someone who sells appliances, because there are two very different types of business entities that, and they don't align with each other. And the way Canada works, they have, I think, a list of all the businesses that you can register. They fall into different categories. So as a professional, you have a category. You can register a professional corporation. As a business that sells goods and commodities, you can register that as a corporation as well. So I can't go under JAE as an IT consultant and register a business as JAE as the person who sells appliances, as an example. So those are the different aspects. Now, you asked the question, like, I've registered businesses. The main business I work under is the one as an IT consultant, because, like I mentioned, my wife and I just started the one with the appliance and stuff. So level of success depends on the business and the time and the effort you put into it and all. So I hope that answers your question, Reverend. But yeah.
Yes. Yes, it does. I just want to pull out that information because we missed it. We need to know your business as well, in case we need that service as well.
Yes, thank you. So if you need, I didn't know we could advertise, but if you guys are looking into getting appliances, so like large appliances like fridges or dishwashers or stoves and all that stuff, you can always contact me, and we'll be able to give you a decent price.
Good.
Church discount, church member discount.
Church member discount, yes.
Yeah, I will hold you to that one because I'm coming.
He's coming for real. They'll be ready. All right. There's a question. Go ahead. There's a question here. Do you recommend training in project management, people management, and assertiveness? Training in any IT or any course that you'd like to do just basically depends on what you want. Just doing a training for knowledge purposes, yes, you can always take training for anything that you want to learn about, just for the sake of knowledge. But if you want to grow in that industry, you want to build a career out of it, by all means, you need to take training in any career path that you choose to. And I'll say this and I'll repeat this again. You have to make sure that you select the right type of training that will provide you decent information to guide you in what you need to do in that career path. So to answer your question, yeah, project management, if that's the route that you want to go, depending on your career path, yes, by all means, you can take that training. And another question is, how do you juggle different projects?
Sorry, can I say something? Sorry, I'm not on camera, but I wrote who I was posing these questions for. So that question is actually for Sally.
Oh, Sally, go ahead, Sally.
Thank you. So based off of what I've seen, because my dad's actually a project manager, and from what I've seen, I think it would benefit greatly to have project management skills, simply because I've now brought on a project manager onto the team, and I'm seeing how much easier life is when you have a project manager. But I think it would be more beneficial to train in people management and assertiveness. People management simply because you get to identify different personality types and figure out how to respond to them accordingly. And then with assertiveness, you actually need to be able to put your foot down on things, I've noticed in this business. Because I also used to be a mortgage agent as well. And a lot of the business practices intersect. Because if you don't put your foot down on things, if you're not assertive on things, clients can walk all over you. A simple example is if you're just here handing out discounts to everybody that comes in, the moment you hand a discount to one person, when they now reference you to somebody else, they're going to be expecting that exact same price. So you should not let yourself be pushed over simply because you're looking for a sale or because you just need clientele. So I actually do believe, similar to what Mr. Jai had said, it's good to just have capital in, or I don't remember who said it actually. It was, my apologies, it was Mr. Folu. He said it's good to have capital with you just saved up simply because you start to make emotionally charged decisions when you don't have money and clients are coming. So you can see that a client or a potential lead may be pressing you for a specific discount or telling you your services aren't worth whatever the price it is that you're charging. You need to be able to genuinely be assertive in that sense. But then at the same time, if you already have the client and they're being too difficult and you know it's stressing you out, or you need to complete the project, you need to be able to say things confidently. You need to be able to be assertive, because when you're assertive to most clientele, they respect it simply because they now know they can't walk all over you. And if they're disrespected by the fact that you're being assertive, then you know that's not the kind of clientele that you want to work with, because those are the type of clients that are always looking for a shortcut, always looking to cut corners, and the only person who's going to stress is you, as opposed to the client, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's working for whatever solution that they're trying to provide. And in terms of juggling different projects, how I've done it, because I am my mom tells me this all the time, by nature, I'm not the most organized person. So what I do is I spread out deadlines. So usually with project, and just being in this business, I technically know how long many projects are going to take me. So if I know a project is going to take me a week, I tell them 2 to 3 weeks. That way, deadlines are so spread out that I don't have to worry about 3 deadlines falling on the same day. And I just have to make sure I'm very honest with myself. I do a very intensive diagnostic on the scope of work that's going to be needed, because what has happened in the past is I overestimate my abilities, and then I overcommit, because I think that this project is going to take me a short amount of time. This project is going to take me a short amount of time. And then what tends to happen is projects fall around like a 2-day span. So I can have 5 projects all due within the span of 2 days, and then I can become overwhelmed. So how I spread it out is that I just make sure projects are 2 to 3 to 4 days apart. I never have 2 projects due within the span of 48 hours. That way I can spread my time better, because some clients just don't realize that their work is not the only thing you're working on, and they don't seem to care. So you have to minimize your availability as well. I have a rule of not texting my clients. Like, if they text me, I'll text them back and tell them to email me. If they just call me randomly, I will tell them to email me. When do you want to talk? When do you want to have a conversation? If there's revisions that need to get made. When they want to call me over the phone and say, oh, let's go over the revisions, I'll say, one, I just won't answer. And then I'll email them and I'll tell them, email me all of your revisions. Let me get it in written form. If I have any questions, I will call you. If you have any additional questions, you'll schedule a call for me. That way, I'm not stressed by anything. And then things get put into a proper place where I can actually juggle these multiple clients. And then I have everything written down on sheets of paper. Like, as everyone was talking, I was writing my own notes, like more notes here. So that way I see when everything's due, and then I'm just not overextending myself. And then I'll try to recognize very early when I'll need other team members on the project. Once again, that's outlining the scope of work and figuring out exactly what's needed. And then I'll be able to just juggle, okay, which one's going to be just me working on the project, and which one's going to be only the team members, or which one's going to be the conglomerate group. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sele. The next question is for Folu. Folu, can you provide advice on forecasting for purchasing and selling properties?
Yes, I do provide advice in these aspects. So depending, again, because every client is different, their goals are also different. So I would provide advice based on, let's say, for example, a purchase. I would provide advice and information about the area that the client is looking to purchase in, as well as selling properties. For example, right now it is a seller's market. You're seeing, homes being listed and, almost like the next day it's gone, right? So depending on who the seller is, they have different goals. So they would ask me, is it a good time to sell? It could be a situation where maybe that the certain property they have, let's say for example a condo, has maybe hit the ceiling in terms of value. So I would discuss where to better apply those funds or apply best use. So short answer to that question is yes, I do provide advice on forecasting and for purchasing and selling properties.
Thank you, Folu. The next question is for Doreen. What challenges have you experienced with your staff?
My biggest challenge is just commitment. I don't know if it's a food industry thing, but loyalty is a problem. There's a lot of high turnover, so, and how I've overcome that is I just have a pool of people that I call on when I need help. So I don't have anybody on payroll, but if the need arises, I do have a pool of people to call on, and you give them enough notice and they come through for me. So yeah, the challenges, but you can always overcome them. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Doreen. Yeah, I have there's a question for me when my next training is. I'm working on one, likely it's supposed to be one come this next weekend, but we can discuss afterwards. You can give me a call. There's somebody out here who's raising Stanley. Mr. Stanley, can you please go ahead and ask your question, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon and good morning. I guess it could be morning in some part of the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And thank you for the opportunity. I'm sorry. I hope it's okay for me to be without the cameras.
Go ahead, sir.
Good. Yeah, I want to say, first of all, thank you to the church. It's imperative. I saw this program means so much to me. I see the church speaking to the people, specifically to their career, which is their livelihood and which is their life. So it's important we see more of this. So I hope this continues. So that is to the organization, to the whole general organization for this program. Then to follow, particularly, I've been hearing that it's a seller's market. When do you think we'll have a buyer's market? Is it coming especially for would-be first-time buyers like me?
That's a great question, and the thing is, nobody can tell what's going to happen tomorrow, right? It's impossible to say. However, what I do tell clients is that nothing goes up in a straight line forever, right? So just because the market is currently currently hot right now doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities. So it would depend on what your needs are. We can always speak about that after. So depending on what you're trying to achieve, because there is a certain market, pretty much anything that's low-rise single family that's really popular right now. There's not a lot of supply, so that's really the reason why you're seeing so much price wars, and there's more demand than supply. So it's not impossible to get into the market, but it would depend on what it is that you're looking for, and depending on the area that you're also looking for as well. In terms of when there's going to be a pullback in the market, there's a lot of discussions now and a lot of pressure on the government to put policies into place to try and cool this down a little bit. One of the things that will be happening is there was a stress test that was introduced, I believe in 2018, but that was more for insured mortgages. So where they would have to qualify at a higher rate. It cooled down the market a little bit, and now they are going to be introducing that stress test on insured mortgages now. So what that means, anything that's 20% or higher. So that would mean that you would need to essentially be qualified for at a higher rate, even though that might not be the rate the banks will be giving you. This will be an attempt to try and cool the market down. So once they implement that, there will be a reaction, but we just have to wait and see what sort of reaction the market, what kind of reactions the market will do when that happens. But we can definitely discuss more in detail.
Thank you, Folu. Thank you for that.
Go ahead, sir. On Folu's comment, just thinking about that response, will that not empower the money backs more? Because if the stress test is going to impact on the deposit level, which is like insured or uninsured, it will, and then the assessment rate is going to go higher. People like Stanley, who are first-time buyers, may not be able to meet that threshold. So if it's going to be higher than what the bank will lend you anyway, so is that not going to impact on the possibility of the first-time buyers to involve in the property market? What do you think?
I do believe, when policies are put into place by the government, it's essentially like a blanket. So it would basically achieve one thing, but then also affect another. So first-time home buyers may also, because they would be subject to that as well. So they would be they may be affected by that also. However, with first-time home buyers, there are certain incentives in place. So if that is to happen, and it starts to cool down prices, then with the prices coming down, hopefully, then they, with the incentives that they are able to receive from the government, hopefully they are able to now use that to be able to purchase. So yeah,
I get you. Okay.
All right, thank you, Folu. The next question is from Ini Uda. The question is it better to start your own business independently or partnering with a franchise? Jai, that's a question for you. Is it better? Yeah, go ahead.
I answer that. It depends. It depends on what's that business, what you're trying to do with that business. Not like, okay, someone here is into catering, right? She might decide to start her own business by herself because guess what? She knows how to cook. She's the one that does, she knows all about what she wants to introduce to the market. Now she might decide to partner with someone who is into baking. And that way they can have a partnership in that business to say, okay, I'll be the one doing the, Nigerian or Caribbean or whatever kind of food, and you'll be the one doing the baking, but we have a business together. So it's this person cooking and baking business. So it depends on what you're trying to get into. If your business is something you can start off on your own, I would suggest that, you can go about doing that. And then if you think that it's something that you can partner in, then, find somebody that could complement what you're doing. Myself and Sheg, when we started FW Focus, it was a partnership, but we registered it under one corporation because we were both doing the same things. So it just depends. It's really a question about what it is that you really want to drive to the market and what you're trying to accomplish. So I don't know if that helps, but that's kind of the mindset around starting a business.
And in a way,
let me add to that.
Yeah,
from the perspective of someone who done independent business and done partnership, I think the only one I haven't done is franchise, but I've heard people's story about franchise. And this is what you need to know. You see, the way you look at it is if you start your own business, you are all in the business, you're your own boss, and you don't need to report or carry anybody along. But just as you may accept that there is limit to what one person can do, as opposed to what two people can do. And then you need to consider the variables in terms of who you're having as your business partner. Jay mentioned that point is very critical. It is a case of making the right choice as who your business partner is. Partnership will always be better than sole trader if you have the right partners. But partnership has the danger of being a nightmare if you don't have the right partners. So that it boils down to who is this partner going to be and what is this partner bringing to the table. If you make that marriage work, it will work very well because, mind you, the danger with partnership too, you must know, is that partners are jointly and severally liable, and that is the law. So that if in course of business, your partner goes and make a blunder and cause financial loss of some kind to someone or client, you're not going to say, oh, it's my partner. No, it's both of you. If your partner is not a person of means, the client can come after you if you're the one that has a house, for instance, and the partner says, oh, I'm sorry for what I've done, but the client is not going to listen to I'm sorry. If they want to recover for their loss, they can come for both of you or for just you, for something you don't really know the head and tail. So that these are the pitfalls. But you can have limited liability partnership, which can also be registered, but then it's on limited circumstances. But if you're coming into a partnership, you're better off going to register a limited company together. So both of you become directors in this company. So because both of you are directors in this company, your liabilities are limited. And the directorship agreement will be able to say what you bring and what I bring and how proceeds are shared. The most important thing is to insist on having documentation as to your partnership. Especially us, we have those unusual approach jumping into partnership without having any documentation at all. It's just a case of two friends come together. Oh, this good business idea is good. They all like bandwagon effect. And suddenly they start falling apart. And they don't even know where to rescue the destruction of the business because nothing was thought through before. One wants this or we kill it. So I've seen from my career perspective as a lawyer and as a business person, people lost millions because they don't get it, just because they are fighting over nothing. And you see business that is built being destroyed because of ego or some sort of expectation that wasn't met. I always say to them, like in partnership, you see, let me use white people, for instance. You have 5 partners working together and they're expanding and including more partners. Why? Because they have a structure in place on progression and expansion. And there is one thing they do very well. They have conspiracy to succeed. And nothing matters to them. They may not say good morning or good afternoon to each other. But once they come into the business, they are doing the business and they want to make money together. But we always have the difficulty of mixing business with friendship or with pleasantries. So that if I am not smiling very well in the morning and greeting you, it looks like you've done something wrong to me. So these are the dynamics you have to weigh with your partner, know if this is going to work or not. And in terms of franchise, I want to tell you, be careful what you're taking on franchise and the terms of your franchise. You need a lawyer to read that paper for you and write you an assessment of the content of that franchise. I know even members of this ministry that have told me of their loss in franchise because they went in and didn't read all the small print until things started falling apart. So by all means, be careful with franchise. It can pay. When I say that, something like Tim Horton franchise or McDonald's, you can go wrong with that. Even the bank will give you loan on stated income. So if that's the franchise you're looking to get, that's phenomenal. But if it's those new ones or unknown ones, I might call them, or unestablished ones, you need to read it properly and get a lawyer's help before you sign that document. It could cost a lot of money later on. That's my input on that.
Well, how much can I pay you, Reverend, for that? Since you're a lawyer, how much can I pay you?
When you come to my office, so I take off this seminar wig. When I take off the seminar hat, then I will talk like a lawyer in operation. You're asking me my fee in this seminar.
This seminar is supposed to include friends and family and church member discounts, sir. So just
thank you very much for that, Shagun. Yes. Yes.
I don't know if you got that memo, sir.
There will be discounts, but it has to be for those who apply.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's easy. Anybody can apply.
I go through Ade or you, Shagun, to apply.
I think Sister Shade is the best person to apply to. Anyways, to respond to that question as well, Ini, from your question.
Thank you. Go ahead, Shagun.
All right. To your question, I see it from another perspective. It says here that is it better to start your own business independently or partnering with a franchise? So either you want to start your own business or start a business and have a franchise. I own a franchise, and there are two sides to owning a franchise. The advantage of owning a franchise is, especially like the Reverend said, you have to make sure that it's the well-established ones. Owning a franchise, there's already a brand in place and there's already marketing that exists already. So you don't necessarily have to do too much. The marketing just goes out already for you. As a matter of fact, you pay for that marketing in your business. Like the Reverend said, just like Tim Hortons. You don't need advertising for Tim Hortons. They advertise on your behalf. So if you're able to afford to partner, well, get a franchise with Tim Hortons, that's a good franchise to own. So there's so many other franchises out there that you can look to and make sure that you're making the right decisions. But more importantly, you need to make sure that you have a lawyer review that contract, because this franchise owners, and my good friend Jai can testify to one of our friends that got he got hooked up on buying a franchise. But you know, that's another conversation. But we have another question here. I hope that answers your question.
Before you go ahead, just to add very quickly.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jai. Sorry.
Yeah, just to add very quickly, Ini, I recommend a documentary that you should watch. It's called Cola Wars. It's basically it's about Pepsi and Coke. You know, that whole, how they started their business, the rivalry, the you know, like so many aspects of it. But it's a foundation to learning about business as well, because you have to think of it this way. Most organizations don't just start up as a franchise. You start up as an individual. Like look at KFC, look at McDonald's. You know, like they start up as, and then it just, you know, you're just starting up your own business, right? So I recommend you watch that documentary, just, you know, and it'll give you some tips. All right,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jai. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. God bless.
All right, thank you. There's a question for Folu here. How do you get the mortgage from the bank and not second lenders?
Okay, for that, I mean, you can speak with a mortgage specialist, you know, at a bank of your choosing, or you can speak with a mortgage broker, and let them know that you know that you're looking for a mortgage and not interested in second lenders. However, it really depends on what your situation is, because you did mention second lenders there. So you know. Because when you go to the bank, they essentially will be looking at your credit to see where your credit stands, your income level, how much you're looking to put down as a down payment, and you know, when all else fails, you know, and you know, that's when you really start looking at alternative lenders, right? So. It really depends on, I'm not sure you know, what your situation is, but to get a mortgage from a bank, it's essentially speaking with a mortgage specialist at the bank and or a mortgage broker. I hope that answers your question there.
Yeah, and we also have a mortgage broker in the house. Like I said, unfortunately, he had a family emergency. We can share his details with you so that you can reach out to him and get more information. That being said, thank you everybody for all of the questions that have been asked, and for the guest speakers especially. But before we round up, I know we've gone over time. It's been an interesting conversation. I had a good time. I learned a lot from all of these professionals. I hope you all did too. We're going to have some quick polling. What our vision is in the education committee is to try to find out what the audience would like to see from a perspective of our next event that we want to do. So we have some questions and answers in the polling. Sister Shadi is going to pull that up right now. So I want you all to go on your screen and just respond to the questions as they come on your screen, and just respond to it however you feel, whatever you feel, and we can take it from there. All right. I see you coming in.
Well, the good thing is nobody's seeing your name, so just say what you like.
Yeah, it's anonymous. We can't tell who's responding. So try to be honest with your responses. However you feel, however comfortable you are with it. All right. So I think we can go to the next question. Sister Shadi. All right, good. Okay, we have a next question. How satisfied are you with the value added to your career goals? Feel free to respond as needed.
Is there a next one?
Yeah.
Right. You're giving us too much time.
All right, we have a next question. All right. How satisfied are you with the communication of the event to you?
Any next one? Are we done?
I think people are still responding. Okay. All right. All right. So what type of event will you like to attend in the near future? So this will guide us in planning the next event. All right. Please go ahead and respond to that. And that's the last question. All right. Please go ahead.
Yep.
I think we're good. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating in this event. We're very, very appreciative of the turnout of the event based on our first event, and we have many more to come. So if you have any questions, the material, the presentation material, they're going to be available to share with you folks. So if there's anyone that is interested or you need all this material, please reach out to me and I can share all of that presentation. So the presenters are definitely going to share those slides with me and I can share them with you. And the slides have the contact information, so you can always reach out to them directly if you have any questions going forward. And I'd like to thank everyone who's been involved, the Reverend, for your support. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much. Sister Shadi for the technical support behind the scenes. Thank you, Sister Shadi, because all the professionals involved, all the evangelists on board, people that have reached out to people to invite other people, our very own evangelist, Sister Augusta. God bless you for doing all you do. I just want to thank everybody. And that being said, I'll put Sister Augusta on the spot to pray for us as a closing for this event. Thank you very much. All right, please go ahead. Thank you.
In Jesus' name, in Jesus' mighty name, we just want to thank you for this career seminar, Father Lord, because we know it's all by your doing. And we want to give you all the glory and all the honor in the mighty name of Jesus, Father Lord. Thank you because you know we're in the midst. We pray that you bless and strengthen everyone here, all the speakers, the coordinators, the Reverend, his family. And as we go, Father Lord, may we go in peace and the Lord be with all of us. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. All right. I've taken 30 minutes of your time. I'm giving you the rest of the hours of the day to spend with your family. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. All right.